Okay, so this is gonna be smooth, man. You already know you're heavily involved in a lot of things, even though silently some of them. But and you talk trash all the time.
So
So
some of us are silent investors who just live our life and let other people pursue their dreams. We're silent investors. You
exactly,
already know.
exactly.
You already
And
know.
but we know the billionaires from the millionaires. You know.
Uh, uh, don't say it too loud. But people say I won the lottery. Then everybody start sending me cash out requests. I beg you. That's how it
Exactly.
went.
Yeah. Put it below. After this interview, you will find out. Anyway, yeah. Thank you. Welcome to the channel, man. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you, thank
Um,
you. It's a pleasure to be
yeah.
working with one of Liberia founders on such a beautiful day in
Mm,
America.
okay,
You know.
okay. My people, this is the trouble at Antego. Like, best finance, my dear. My people, you come for me. Anyway,
Okay,
tell the people about yourself, you man. Your Koro point.
oh, I'm gonna put it in Coca. I'm gonna put it in series.
Put it
You
in
know,
Bob.
this is your boy. You know what I'm saying? This your boy. You know, your boy from IG. This your boy, Citizen Airman. And this your boy from Twitter, Sky Daddy. Yeah, and I'm chilling right here with the wonderful Miss Zawadi. You know, Zawadi Emma. You know, just got back from Liberia, and it feels good to be back in advanced civilization, not to be behind still. Yeah. So yeah, just a little bit about
Ah,
myself. Born in Liberia like everybody else, you know, migrated to America many years ago, about 20 something years ago.
okay.
Uh, went to when I was living in Liberia at a young age. I went to JJ Roberts. That's why I went to school. Uh, when I came to America, I went to Upper Darby High School. Did
Okay.
some college at Widener University. Did some college at Philadelphia Community College because I actually lived in Philadelphia. And then I moved. And fast forward, I'm currently in the U.S. military, in the U.S. Air Force. I do that on a part-time level, not full-time, but I just came back from a deployment as well in Europe before I went to Liberia. And then for a hobby, everybody got hobbies. For hobbies,
Let's hope so.
uh, I know some people not get hobbies, some people can leave their own house. Yeah. For hobbies, I like to work out. Most people who follow me on Instagram underscore Citizen
Mhm.
Airman, they follow me because I work out. You
Mhm.
know, I give workout tips to people. I'm also a Liberian flight attendant in America. Shout out to all my fellow Liberian flight attendants in
Okay.
America.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, Delta Airlines. Um, for hobby, I work out and I travel. You know, on my free time, when I have time off work, I like to travel to different countries. Sometimes you'll catch me in Europe. You would normally find me in the UK, or you'll
Okay.
find me in Germany or Sweden or Norway or Denmark, just dropping names, you know. Or you can
Okay.
find
Okay. You
me,
know what to find it now.
or
Okay.
you can find me
What's
on
that
one of
tell you?
these beautiful American islands, you know, playing in the people clean water, you
I
know.
see.
Or or you can find me in the real Miami, chilling on the beach, not in Miami on the pool water,
Okay, guys. You know
get my
the this
skin
is
clean.
the US.
You know, the Miami of US of A, not the Miami of Mobile. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically a quick rundown about me. You know, no kids, no wife,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, all the single women there. Yeah, yeah. Come on, this thing.
and just living life. But now I turn it over to my inviter as I am the invitee. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, man. You know, you just always so fun. And so when you go to the UK, I wonder, do you go to United Stadium?
Yes, I actually last time I made it to Manchester, but I didn't make it to United Stadium because normally when I go to the UK, I go for about 2 3 days. I try to hit
Okay.
as many places as possible because I personally believe that if I take a trip, I don't like to be for somewhere more than 3 days because then I get
Right.
bored, you know,
Mm.
because then it becomes repetitive of doing the same thing over and over, waking up, trying to find things to do. So yes, I've been to Leeds. I actually went through Leeds. Yeah, I
Okay.
never been to Leeds in my life before. People who know football, they know Leeds and Manchester United are very arch rivals.
Yes.
So I went to Manchester City Stadium. I saw their stadium. I have a picture of it in my iPhone.
Okay.
Uh, and yeah, you know, yeah, I've been to the Big Ben Tower that's in London. I've
Okay.
been to the Eye of London, that Ferris wheel, and one
Mm-hmm.
of my coolest places or or site that I saw when I was in London was when I went post COVID. When I went last year, I went to, was it last year or this year? It was, I think it was this year. Yeah, this year. I went to the Victoria Bridge,
Okay.
and next to the Victoria Bridge, they have this COVID wall where
Mm.
it's a wall that's about 2 or 3 miles long, and it has hearts. You know, they
Okay.
put little hearts on there, and you can pick a heart if you lost a family member or you lost a friend to COVID, or you know someone who lost
Wow.
someone to COVID. You can actually write a little message to that person in that heart and sign it.
Wow.
You know,
That's
so that
very
was
nice.
something that I saw that was very like touching because we all went through the COVID pandemic. We know some people who personally lost
Hmm.
family members and stuff like
Absolutely.
that. So that was really touching. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention actually, what I do is, no, I'll let you ask the question and I'll answer it. I think there'll be a question probably for that, so I'll just leave that off for
Right,
now.
right.
But yeah,
All right. So anyway, I mean, dude, I know this is you guys are in for a treat. This guy, he's very energetic. So you're just sit back. All the single women, you put your number down there.
no,
I ask, man.
no, I don't want them to be fighting.
You wanted to be fighting in Miami, eh?
No, no. This is the holidays. I want peace and quiet and love.
Peace and quiet and love, spread love.
Yeah, spread love.
So anyway, I saw you went to Liberia recently. That's
Yes,
this
yes,
channel. We try to motivate and also
yes.
promote
I was
Liberia
in
to
the
the
LI. I
best.
was in the LIB. Yes.
LIB. And you went back. I'm sure this is not your first time going back since you came to the US.
No.
Can you walk us
Yeah.
through your journey?
Yeah. So I try to go back to I started going to Liberia in 2018.
Okay.
You know, so I try to go at least once a year or twice a year pre-COVID. But when
Okay.
COVID hit, the last time I was in Liberia was 2019. I came back and then COVID hit. So
Okay.
when COVID hit, I didn't get to go until this year. So this year, this was my second trip to LIB this year.
Okay.
Uh, the first time I went was in April. I went for about a week and a half, you know, and my second trip was recently when I went in October. I was there for a month and a week.
Mhm.
Well, the essence of me going to Liberia is quite simple. Uh, I have my mom who lives there, and
Okay.
I have my two brothers who live there. So with my family being distant, it gives me the privilege and the opportunity to go back home because in some cases, when all your family is around you in America, it doesn't really spark your blood or spark your interest to want to go back home because you're like, what am I going back home to? You
Mhm.
know, who am I going to? What am I going to do there? I have nobody there, so there's no point, there's no essence. But for me, it gives me a purpose to go back. And normally
Mhm.
when I go back for a reason. And my second trip going back was because we have a football team in Liberia.
Okay.
It's called TED UFC, Teddy
Okay.
United Football Club. It's a football team that is made out of uh, hearing impaired individuals and
Okay.
individuals who can hear. So, and the essence of that is to promote brotherhood amongst Liberians, because the type
Mhm.
of war that we went through, the type of traumatization that we went through, it took away that childhood factor from a lot of people. It took
Mm.
away that opportunity for someone to advance in life. Maybe there was a
Right.
skilled person and that person is no longer. We've been through so many wars, it kills talent. So I would
Mhm.
try to do it. And it also kills togetherness. So the
Mhm.
essence of the football team is to get kids who are hearing impaired. Like in Liberia, they call it deaf, they call it bobo, they call it whatsoever. But we call it hearing impaired because we live in a civilized world.
Mhm.
Um, is to get those people and those individuals to mingle with people who can hear and who can talk. And
Okay.
then our thing is to get those people who can hear and who can talk to learn sign language so they
Ah.
can be able to communicate with these individuals who cannot hear, you know, and who cannot verbally speak. They can
Okay.
hear, but they
So they
cannot
can
verbally
verbalize.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do. So it's a football team. We're in the second division. We actually just had our first game yesterday, our first game of the new season started yesterday. We won 4-1. So
I say.
yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. So in essence of that is we try to do that to create opportunity for people. And we have this young lady on the team named Priscilla. She's one of our translators, our signer, and she got into it because both her parents were hearing impaired. So she
Mm.
had to learn how to communicate with her parents, and she can hear and she can speak. So if someone of that nature can do that, why can't the other person? Or why
Exactly.
can't us as fellow Liberians forget about someone's disability? You know, look at the person as a Liberian and give them the opportunity to have a life. If you can be a helping hand to that person, why not? Because at the end of the day, the Liberian that you take up tomorrow will be the same Liberian that will promote Liberia tomorrow. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's why I go back to Liberia to do. And not just that, but when I'm there, I tend to stay in my old neighborhood, the neighborhood that I was born in. That
Yeah,
we
we'll
have,
share the picture with us. Oh.
yeah, I will share you. No. So I stay in Omatadi Estate. We have an apartment there, a furnished apartment with everything that we need. And then my mom has her house about 10 minutes or so down the street, and my dad has some other houses there as well. So that's what I do when I go. I don't go and go stay in no fancy hotel. Like I live close proximity to my mom, which is like about 10 minutes away from where I live. So if any emergency, I can just be able to get to her without any issues. And like I said, I rub elbow with everybody. You know, um, there are people on my Instagram who are in Liberia that people don't even know I'm friends with, or on my Facebook they don't even know I associate with, or stuff like that. But like I said, I don't just associate with those people. I relate.
Mm-hmm.
I try to relate to every Liberian that follows me on social media, especially on my Twitter, on LIB Twitter. Even when I'm in Liberia, when I get my haircut, there's this one guy on LIB Twitter. He's a really good barber. His shop is like 5 minutes down from where my apartment is at. His name is Holy. They call him on Twitter, Celebrity Barber Holy. So and these guys, these kids, these individuals, they're really skilled because these are people who didn't go to barber school, but they cut hair with the American people clippers, and then they use the razor blade to cut your hair as well. So
Okay,
these
so when
people
I
are
go there,
really talented.
I'll have to touch my hair. Okay.
Oh yeah. When you go there, tell me, I'll get you his number. I'll link you up. He will touch you up very nice. He who cut my hair when I'm there, and they cut it to perfection. They can put design in your hair, everything with the razor blade. Like
Wow.
this guy and another one named Kyrie. So there are two. The other kid name is Kyrie, and Kyrie don't like Jaco and say Jaco rich and Jaco can dress the daddy Joe.
Okay.
you know. so, so so when we go in there, we have barbershop talk, just like in America. We talk about things. We talk about America. I speak colloquial to them. I don't speak series. Whenever I'm around there, I speak colloquial 100% because my thing is, if you're in Rome, you behave like the Romans, right? You don't be
Yeah.
in Liberia, you be speaking colloquial and all that kind of stuff. The boy
Mm-hmm.
already know you from America. Why you want to add too much trouble to your own
Yeah.
thing? So yeah. So when they cut my hair, I treat them with the same respect I treat my barber with in America. If the haircut is $40 in America, but the man in Liberia, because he in the little barber shop, he don't have the same elegance and the same relaxation that the man in America has. But if he's cutting my hair equivalent or better to the man in America, I will pay him the same amount of money. So
Exactly.
so that's what I do. Your work does not diminish because you're in Liberia. If your work is better than what I get in America, I will pay you more than what I get in America. Of course, you put the tip there as well. And then
Exactly.
as far as going out, whenever I go out, like I said, I mingle with everybody. I had one of my best friend was there with me. Was there for a few days. We went to what's it called? Savi is on Fifth Street. Went to Savi. We brought some of our people with us from the neighborhood, like our local Californian from the neighborhood. Just make sure you dress nice. We enter the people place. We're chilling. We're smoking hookah. We're having drinks. I ran into some prominent Liberians there from Instagram. Some of our doctors in Liberia be chilling there. We all rub elbow because we don't know we all know each other, but we all associate and know each other. That's the scenery we create for ourselves, so we can sit down and stop being the people that people is following, but actually be an individual, be a human being, be a person. So we was there, just when I was our thing. The next thing you know, George Weah's son comes in. He sits the same area we were sitting in. All just we all know that George Weah's son, but really don't care.
Right.
Because we really don't care. We're there to smoke our hookah, have our drink, eat our snail barbecue, crack jokes. They say, "Oh yeah, my name champ. Oh, my name so. Oh yeah, we know your pa. Forget about that team. We're talking about chilling. So he ain't about it. He ain't about it, man. Me too. About it, man. Too. About it, man. See, about it, man. Respect. About it, man. So about it, man. Move for any way. About it, man. Move for any way. So people can talk. So we talk. So yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's why my Liberian trips are always like. Of course, I will take pictures. Liberia is not perfect. We all know it. Improvements can be made in many sectors, but it's still home. It's still home. So basically, that's why my Liberian trip composed of. When I go home to relax, handle business. Talk to people who might want to invest in our football team. Because there's many ways we can help each other. There's many we can help each other. So
So what made you? Why did you guys what was the decision process when you went into disability, right? That's something we don't speak of and disability in the Liberian setting. From my experience, me or somebody who has cerebral palsy, and they spare the person got spare.
The person got spare, the person crazy, the person in wish, the person at this, the person at that. But that's the thing about us Africans is we put a lid on it. We keep it in secrecy because we don't want people to know. Because if somebody know you have a son that is not mentally capable to the other kids, or that has some sort of disability, they look down on your family. So what people do is they hide it. They keep it a secret. They distance themselves from that child, but yet they still provided the bare minimum for that child. So what made me go into disability is about 4 years ago, when I was doing my military initial training about 4 years ago. I didn't have my phone, I didn't have anything. But before I left, I had my brother, my fourth older brother. His name is Chris. Chris was a schizophrenic.
Okay.
Chris was somebody who very intelligent young man. He can build things from scratch. You can bring those IKEA thing and put it in front of him. You don't need the direction. He just put it together for you. Chris was very intelligent. Chris was so intelligent, like it was crazy. I was like, damn it. At some point I was a little bit jealous. I was like, how can my brother be this intelligent? Like this man had a bright future. But what happened was my brother had a mental disability of schizophrenia that we didn't know about until one time he went with one of his crowd boys and neighborhood boys in to go smoke weed. And I guess someone had laced his weed. And it actually, in the body, they have these things called inhibitors, that way, they are dormant in your body until they are activated by something in your gene that can either activate a good gene for you or activate one of your dormant, because we all have those disability genes inside of us. It just takes the right chemical to either activate or not activate it. So I guess his got activated. When his got activated, my brother lost his mind. My brother lost his mind. Some days my brother would sit there and he would think the war is against him. My brother would sit there. There would be a cat. He would call the cat guy. He would say, "Oh, that guy there, God told me to do this and do that." So family members started to distance themselves from him. But me and my older brother, we never did, because we understood the situation. So when I was going off to military training, my brother Chris was the last person that I saw. Went out to dinner. He was living in one of those not so good Philadelphia neighborhoods. And so I saw him off. I drove him home. That day was in a rental car. I came down to Philly just to visit him. Was in a rental car. I drove him home, and I told him, "Hey, let me go do this for us. When I get back, it would be good. We'll get a house. You can come stay with me. I don't care. You can get your own room. You don't have to worry about nothing." And that was our conversation. So we had that conversation. That was in April. So I left. I went off to my first phase of my training. I was done the end of June. So I finally got my phone. That's when they give you your cell phone. You know, the day before you charge your phone, but you can't turn it on. You charge your phone the day you're leaving to go to the next phase of the training. You all get on the bus and they give you your phone. So when I got my phone, I turned it on. I got a message from Snapchat. Immediately, my phone started ringing. It was my sister-in-law, my cousin's girlfriend was calling. So that was my first time talking on the phone in a long time. So I answered the phone. So when I answered the phone, I asked her, I'm like, what's up? She's like, oh, you coming to the funeral? So I was like, what funeral? She's like, your brother funeral. We've been trying to call you, but your phone kept going to voicemail. So I was like, so I thought it was a joke, you know, just coming from a mentally draining military training, you know, where like I lost weight and everything, you know, and all that crazy stuff, you know, to somebody telling me that my brother had just passed. So I called my uncle and I was like, hey, so and so just called me and told me there's a funeral. Is it true? My uncle was like, no, it's not true. It's not true. So I was like, so I got really mad on the phone. I started to, you know, agitate my voice on the phone. That was when he finally told me, it's like, yeah, 3 days ago, your brother was shot and killed. You know, people went into his house to rob him, and he came to open the door, and he got shot in the doorway, and he didn't survive. So I was like, why didn't you send me a letter or something to let me know? Because I can receive letters. Why didn't you write me any type of letter or anything like that? And their reason was, we didn't want you to know. We didn't want you to be distracted. I'm like, this is my brother. Nothing can distract me from family. This is my blood. This is my brother. This is someone I grew up with in Liberia. Someone I came to America and met here in America. So to cut long story short, I had to go home. So I left my military training and I went for his funeral. You know, buried my brother, I think June 26th of about 2 years ago. Now that's when they buried my brother. No, going on to 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. That's when I buried my brother. So that's what motivated me. That was my first motivation to get into the disabled realm of being able to, you know, show that because somebody is disabled doesn't mean they're less of a human being.
Yeah,
And then
I
have this.
think within our society as a whole, and then going to Liberia, where knowledge is so limited and where people are, you know, can come in contact with, we need to build more awareness. I think we've abandoned those with disability.
We have abandoned those with disabilities because we feel like they will bring shame to your family name, or there will be no good to you. You know, so what's the point? But people forget you were the one who birthed that child. You know, you were the one who gave DNA to that child. So the second part of me being involved in it is my really good friend. His name is Teddy. On Facebook, his name is Teddy Milestone. On Instagram, his name is Soccer Picking. He's hearing impaired. You know, it's his team. That's why it's called TED UFC. But because of him, I decided to join the board and be a part of it and go watch the team play. When I was in Liberia recently, I went to go watch the team play. I've been playing in the inaugural game in Liberia recently.
I saw that.
You know, so yeah. So me and Teddy been friends for a while. Teddy is also a Manchester United fan.
Okay.
We've been fans for a while. You know, we've been friends for almost 12 years on Facebook. But I didn't know Teddy was deaf or Teddy was hearing impaired until he told me. He sent me an article for me to read. And he was in the article because he's a soccer player, he's a football player. You know, he was in the article about him being a deaf soccer player and this and that, but yet he doesn't let his disabilities stop him from achieving his soccer dream. Really good football player. You know, so that's how I knew Teddy was hearing impaired. So it was recently when he approached me about the team. And I was like, you know what? I've been knowing Teddy for so long, and with my history with my brother being also a disabled individual, you know, so why not? You know, it doesn't hurt anyone to be someone who is considered a normal human being, to be there for someone who people in our society look down on or refuse to associate with, or refuse to even learn the simple like the simple disabled, you know, signs, like simple signs like these. You know, wish me I love you. You know, do it that they put it to your heart there, but they say I love you, like simple sounds like that.
That's the one I know.
Yeah, exactly. So like simple things like that. So I'm like, if a disabled person or hearing impaired person is invested in talking to you, why can't you invest in talking to them?
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know?
mhm. It's
So so
it's a stigma
yeah.
within our society, and especially
Yeah.
Liberia.
Yeah. So that's what got me involved in the football. And today we're on the board. We have our, like I said, won our first game yesterday, 4-1. We're currently in the process of purchasing.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. I will extend it to Teddy. We're currently in the process of navigating on how we can purchase a bus, a team bus, so that way our players can be able to get picked up instead of having to have everybody transport themselves or meet at a central location. So we're currently so it's just by us doing that, it show that we're invested in our people. It show
Mhm,
that like
mhm.
everybody might not go to school, might not get a degree, might not get a job, but if you have the talent, we invest in your talent. You
Exactly.
know, so what we do is we also take players from different teams that's on loan. Just like football, we take
Yeah.
players on loan from different team, transfer window, everything. We do all that, the whole shebang. So
Mhm.
yeah, so that's a part of my Liberia journey. Every time I go to Liberia,
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that we all can find different means to help
yeah,
elevate the country. And the way you started is something that we don't talk about a lot. A lot of people are not
yeah,
involved in it because of one stigma, because it doesn't
mhm,
benefit them
yes,
individually and it's not popular. And so we
yeah,
don't really pay attention to that. I
yeah,
too
that's
work
true.
with
Very,
folks who are
very,
blind
very,
in bond
very, very
mines.
true. Yes,
You
very
know,
true.
older people in bond mines who are blind, who are at the
Yeah,
disadvantage. I try to really do my own job over there
yeah,
as far as disability is concerned, because those people are just they're not privileged to be
yeah. They're
exposed to what we
underprivileged.
can.
They are.
They're underprivileged.
Especially the country we live in. Those people are not underprivileged. They're like they have no help.
Right.
They have no help. Like and it's crazy that we live in a society today. We have a country that has millions of millions in free money that comes in grants from different areas, but yet we don't have a centralized organization. Like that's one thing I wish Liberians will come to terms with, the fact that yes, everybody can have their own charity, everybody
Mm-hmm.
can have
Mm-hmm.
their own
Mm-hmm.
foundation, everybody can
Exactly.
have their own this, but yet we need a centralized figure, like a headquarter, like a centralized, like the Liberian Foundations Fund or Liberian Foundations, where we have our representation that will give us regulation, I'll give us bylaws, I'll give us this and give us that, so that when money comes into Liberia, it gets go directly to this head organization, and this head organization can take that money and spread it out to the different foundations to do their different things they want to do, rather than have
How
one
do you
person
think
start it.
how do you think that can go? We can begin that.
That can
What do you
begin.
believe is the solution to that?
The solution is just commonality. The solution is just togetherness. The solution is forgetting about I want my organization or my foundation to do this, but yet
Mm-hmm.
somebody next to you doing the same thing.
Mm.
The way I look at it is I look at the Jewish people. A lot of people say Jewish people run the world, and you are right. But you also got to look at the Asian people and look at the other
Mhm, mhm.
nationalities. When they go to a different country, the first thing they establish is some kind of nationalism, some kind of patriotism
Yeah.
organization for their people.
Mhm.
The Jewish people got what's called the Jewish Community Center. That center is centered around Jewish people and all their activities they do in their communities. If you're a Jewish person, you live in that community, you go to that community, you register, say, hey, I'm Jewish, I live here, here's my social address. So if you need anything, they provide it for you. We have Liberians like myself who are flight attendants in America, but we also have Liberians who are flight attendants in America that when you try to even talk to them, they think they are so better than you because they're either born here with Liberian parents and they're flight attendants, so they think they're excuse my language, they're at the shit. But what you don't understand is, if I'm a Liberian flight attendant, I'm a Liberian lawyer or a Liberian doctor, and
Right,
I'm
right.
talking to you, what we need to do is come together,
It's a big network.
network. We come
Yeah.
together. You have the Liberian Doctors Association of America. That can be people who go back to Liberia and do volunteer work just like Doctors Without Borders, or the Liberian Flight Attendant Association of America. Liberian flight attendants that go back to Liberia, because someday Liberia will have its own
Of
airline.
course.
But we can go and provide training and start from somewhere, start to teach people. Liberians are in very, 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 very good sectors in America. You know, I know Liberian female pilot in the Air Force. Like Liberians are in very, very deep organizations in Liberia,
Yeah,
in
no,
America.
of course.
But the thing is, we don't network. Or when some of them feel you trying to network with them, they feel you want something from them.
Yeah,
No, brother, no,
we're
sister.
very
I don't want that from you.
individualized
Yes,
in our
we're very
thinking.
individualized in our thinking. So I'm just like, no, a person trying to talk to you from a Liberian descendancy doesn't really want something from you. Most of us try to talk to our own people so we can come together and create something better for the people back home. Because with us living overseas, we already got what we want. Like you already
Mm-hmm.
got what you want. You will
Mm-hmm.
always have your career. You always have your job. You always have your this. You always have your that. But we cannot take that and just keep it in America.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot take that. Like another common example of that would be with the World Cup going on, people getting mad at Timothy Weah and Haji Wright for playing for America. But that's not their fault. If our people would invest in our own thing and take it seriously, these kids would not want to play for America. So, oh shit, I'm gonna go help my own country, take them to the World Cup. Same concept. If I'm here in America and I'm doing something good for myself and I have other people who have different organizations and I approach you, I'm like, hey man, you're doing the same thing I'm doing to help the blind. Let's come together and make it one big thing instead of two separate things. Hey, you're doing the same thing to help the hearing impaired. Oh, let's come together and put it together to make it one instead of two things. But the thing is, our people don't want to think like that
No.
because everybody wants to be their own leader.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be their own leader. But you gotta understand, disabilities is a disability. If you have a grand organization for just disabilities for Liberians, many disabilities can fall under that organization where we can provide proper care for those Liberians back home.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
where one person will have to say, "Oh, here's my GoFundMe," or "I'm collecting money," or if you get something to
Right.
put in my borrow. No, we can't do that. If we had a centralized organization, we can say, "Okay, this year so did Zawadi, Kui, Myers, this person will be going to Liberia. They are taking all the things that we need to go distribute to the different, orphanage that we'll give to, or the different disability homes that we'll give to. But this is coming from everybody in America. There's not just one person taking their barrel to take it to do it, or they're taking their barrel to take it to do it. I understand that individual glory is not really glory.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, when you pass away, your individual glory will stay right here, it will not go with you. But
Absolutely.
legacy is better than individuality. If we all come together and we leave something behind for people to continue in the future, we'll not have all these problems.
Yeah.
That's one of the issue we face. We don't have, like you said, how can this be solved? It can be solved with togetherness, with understanding, with knowing that we're all fighting the same battle. We're all on
Mm-hmm.
the same battlefield, but we're just in different units. But if all the units can come together, we can have a grand platoon or grand organization that we can just make moves back home. We can change the culture of Liberia by not being individuals, but by being one. You
Right,
know?
absolutely. I do agree. And I think that, well, I believe wholeheartedly that in order for Liberia to forge ahead, we have to instill this collective effort within our
Yes.
systems.
Yes.
Because if I go and start a business, yeah, great. But again, it's not solving all of the issues that are there. And
No.
perhaps even if we become a collector, it's not going to solve all the issue, but you will see progress. And
Yeah.
that's what I encourage on this channel. We have to do things in numbers because two
Mm-hmm.
heads definitely better than
Mm-hmm.
one, and
Mm-hmm.
our community can really do better with that. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so you get back home and you're there for this, so you're
Mm-hmm.
for this program that you and Teddy, you guys have. What are other things that you're observing in the country, right? People say I haven't been back. Is that bread even improved? Can I even go back home? I'm gonna get killed. Oh my God, there's no security,
I
there's no
can
that.
tell you, I can tell you for sure, Liberia is safer than America. And that's a big statement. And I will stand on that statement.
And you're
The
in the
reason why
military
Liberia,
also.
yes, stop it. Stop it. Before the Liberia National Policemen can start running away, you want to see me. You know? Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I would encourage people to go back home. Liberia is safe. Yes, we got Zogos, we got this, we got that. But just like in every country, there's crime in certain neighborhoods. If you don't want to go to that neighborhood, don't go there. If
Right,
you know
right.
that neighborhood has crime, don't go there. If you know after a certain time, these boys are gonna be on the street jacking people up for the phone, limit your time out or go in groups, go in one or two cars where you know that it will be easier for you to access your car to go home. But then again, Liberia is not safe because Liberia doesn't have a stop sign where people respect stop sign.
Right,
I've been
right.
to Liberia about 4 times now. There's one stop sign in Cinco, and nobody respect that stop sign because Liberia is you blow your horn, you go. Liberia doesn't have a traffic light system like they have in every other country like Ghana, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, Nigeria. Liberia don't have it. Liberia is a do as you please country. So if people say they don't feel safe going back home, I would agree with them based on the fact that safety start with the government that you have. If you don't have a single traffic light where people can respect traffic laws, your country is not safe because anybody can run over somebody with a car. You know, if you have a country, Liberia is the only country I have been to in my years of traveling. I've been to multiple times because it is home, where a justice minister can have police escort to go to work. Or senator can have police escort to go to work. In America, have you ever seen Nancy Pelosi get in her car
Oh
and
no,
police escort carry her to work?
she better
No.
go to work herself.
She better go to work and be on time. Liberia, as a government official, your job is to wake up on time and go to work on time and be there on time and start your proceedings on time. Nobody should have to stop their business of going in the morning to their jobs because a senator number 1 or representative number 65 or George number 24 is going to work and he has a police escort. There's in no country in this world that your lane to go turns into another person's lane to come. Where you have 2 lanes going on Tubman Boulevard that's going into Conga Town and 2 lanes that's going into Monrovia. But because traffic gets their own rules, people can take over the 3rd lane and create a 3rd lane. So now you have caused this other road to have 1 lane because you want 3 lanes. A country where, me, I love riding a bike. I'm a hypocrite on that one because if I need to go somewhere real quick, I will not drive. I will hop on a bike and the bike will go through traffic. I will not care because I'm me on the bike. But
So
it
you're
shouldn't be like that.
contributing to the problem also.
Exactly. It shouldn't be like that because it's a do as you please country. That's why I say I'm a hypocrite to it because it shouldn't be like that. If there were rules and regulation, this is a stoplight, stop, follow it. Let it put in, go, put in, stop, you go. If we had that type of traffic system, like bro, it'll be fine. But we don't have it. Where in the world you see a policeman saying directing traffic, but he drinking he cool soldier, what car and then passing by, he don't care. But when he saw the money coming, then he stop traffic to collect money. The only time he won't do his job.
From your perspective, because you go home now, you go once or twice a year. From your perspective, would you say it's an accountability or regulatory issue?
It's both.
Okay.
There's no regulation on that in Liberia, and accountability is not there because a policeman will let a person go for $20, but the other person behind don't go because he may not get him $20. So it's not regulated, and they're not holding anybody accountable. Liberia has those rules, but no one enforces them.
They're not enforced.
No one enforces. Liberia has a zoning rule where that says this area is an industrial area. Nobody will build house there, but people still go and build house there because you know what? They don't care. The government will not come down and say, "I'm breaking your house." Because you're not supposed to be there. Liberia got all these things in place. People forget back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, Liberia was the country to go to in Africa.
I
because
tell
we have
people
regulation
people who say
and we have
Liberia don't have
accountability.
rules. People always say Liberia don't have rules. I said no,
We
Liberia
have rules,
do
but
have
there's
rules.
no accountability. If the president of Liberia, if the president of Liberia can be a musician, can be a pastor, can be a whatsoever, you think the people will take you serious? You think the people say, "Oh, you can't do this," they will say, "Okay, I respect the man that tell me I can't do it," but yet you are doing worse than the people you are governing. You are supposed to be the highest office of the land. You're supposed to be the exemplary figure of the people. Nobody say a president cannot have a hobby. Obama used to play basketball. Donald Trump let golfing be. Everybody got their hobby. But you do that when you take your presidential vacation of your 2 weeks off that you're permitted every year. So accountability is not there. So why the accountability is not there? Come on, man, at me. My brother was driving. It was in April. Was it in April when I was there? Yeah, it was in April when I was there previously in April. And my brother was driving me, was coming from Broad Street. And we decided to go through Jalatown. when you come up Crown Hill, you come down. There's a big
Yeah, yeah.
intersection before you go to Ministry of Justice and LMP, Jonathan Junction. So traffic was backed up. Cars started turning on their own accord. Policemen saying that their cars turning on their own accord. But then when my brother turned, he jumped in from my brother's car. He said, "Stop the car not turning." So my brother's like, "Why are you stopping me? Everybody else turning." He said, "No, they cannot turn because you're in violation of the law. You turning what I've been telling you to turn." You know? So I looked at it. To cut long story short, I step out the car. So I approached the policeman. I'm like, "Why you stop my brother?" He's like, "Oh, you're violating. Your whole day you're violating. I say, "You talking to me right now? See the amount of car and I'm passing by you, so be doing your job. You see, am I putting that 10 illegal, so be doing your job. You are a traffic cop. Your job is to hold authority of this zone and direct traffic so no one cause accident or no one gets hurt. But you here stopping cars there because you won't get something." He said, "What do you mean?" So his superior came over. So I introduced myself. I'm like, "I'm so and so, visiting the country on my way from the American embassy. I'm in the US, blah 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 blah." By the time I said in the US, blah 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 blah, the whole face changed.
Okay.
Because you know what? In Liberia, we respect us things.
Yes.
If you tell somebody we respect us thing, us authority, we respect it. Because in the US military, blah 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 blah, the head get big now, they come and eat a small thing. "Oh,
Okay.
sorry, oh my man, sorry. Oh, we not know, oh chief." They start calling me
Okay.
chief. They start calling me chief. So I said, "Don't call me chief." I said, "Don't call me nothing." I said, "What you doing is wrong."
Good.
So now he tune changed. He said, "Oh my man, we just doing anything, just so I can get my quarter."
Okay.
But see, he just told my brother, just that my brother car will not move. You stood in front of the car, they could have hit you. You stood in front of the car, you badging. I said, "What if I wanted to badge you to from America?" I said, "What if I take my phone, I call my major in America, I tell him to drop bomb right here and kill you? Think it would be fair?" He get scared. He gets scared straight. He said, "Oh, sorry." So I said, "No, it don't operate like that." So how can I told him? So my brother was like, so my brother said, "No, go buy in the car." So I talk to my brother, cause in my brother, when you get big name in my brother, everybody respect you. So I got my brother told him who he was talking to, what kind of family we from. How can that man let all go?
Wow.
Because they respect it. So that's the problem. Accountability, and regulation is not there. Go see Liberian policemen dressing to go to work. Their clothes junky on it. No sense of pride. You are a whole police officer. Liberia National Police. But you know Jada Washington. Yeah. So it's not
there
there.
are various disturbances within the country, but I always say where you have problems you have solutions,
There is
and
solutions.
the
There
government will
is.
not solve all of our issues, and so this
No, the
is
reason.
where go ahead.
The reason why that is Liberia is a very political country. Because election time is coming in Liberia right now. I was seeing the videos and pictures of the place that from election time is coming. A politician will come to a community and say, "Oh, I will face the role here, but you've been in power for almost 6 years, you face the role here. But because you want re-elected, get re-elected, and say you face the role, you do everything." That's when promises come out. Is that to say people can't do anything in Liberia? Politicians can do something in Liberia, but it's all political. Because if you say you will do something in Liberia, and the next man coming as a political ally, now it become of, "Oh, who will do it first?" But then when you do it first, you only do it one time. Liberia is a country where the politician then gave the people sugar. They give you small something. It's like ants. The Liberian citizens are like ants. You put small sugar right here, they will all come there. Because now you drop something good and they all want it. When that sugar filling out, they don't care what you're doing, but because they got the sugar, they don't care what you're doing until you drop sugar again, then they come back.
So, but I would say, but also too, then I would speak to the fact that they are taking advantage of people who are not, people who are at a disadvantage. Let me tell you something.
100%.
They are taking advantage.
100%. Because, like I always say, these people in Liberia, these political figures, these people who have the power to make a change, a solid change. These government officials, the president. Joey was just on TV last night watching America play, clapping for his son in the luxury box stadium. But look at what on the stadium. Joey travels to America. He drives in traffic. He sees traffic lights. He sees improvement. He sees laws, rules, and regulation and accountability. We enjoy it. Liberian will travel, politician will travel to a different country and enjoy it. But he will not come out to Liberia with that idea and implement it.
Because we lack patriotism. Again, the problems continue to go. There's no love for country also. There is no accountability.
There's no
There's
love
no
for
love for
country.
country.
There's
Because
love
if
for
you
the
love
money.
your
There's love
country,
for the
you
money
will
that comes
see
in the
all the
country.
good things that are happening here, and you will want to
Mm-hmm.
take it to where you govern. But because
How
people
you think the
don't
war
care,
got developed, my sister? The war got developed because one man take another man idea and improve it. They may not improve that idea. Another man take one idea and improve it and improve it. Like improvement, upon improvement, upon improvement. Like idea stealing of improvement that make the war what it is today. You know,
yeah.
for my example, look at our airport. I've traveled to Liberia many times. Do you know when they use the jet bridge in Liberia for the airplane?
When
They only use the jet bridge when it's raining. When it's raining, that's when they'll bring they'll make the airplane come to the jet bridge so you can walk so water can get you wet. But when it's not raining, we use stairs. They'll park the airplane on the tarmac and then use the stairs. Why did you build the airport with 3 or 4 jet bridge if you're not going to use it? It shouldn't be used just because it's raining.
you know, yeah, there are a lot of systemic things. But I always, want to know. So you are doing
Mm-hmm.
all of this thing in Liberia, all of these things in Liberia, and you have you seen any improvement at all in any way from maybe 15 years ago since you were there before you started going 2018?
The only improvement I would say is in Liberia is the ministerial complex that they built, because that complex that they built holds all the ministry except for a few, but yet it doesn't look like it's a government institution.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like how a government institution should look. Come by example, I was seeing the pictures that I have in my phone of government buildings in Liberia. I went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to get my Liberian passport. That building been there since Doe time. The building is ugly. It's moldy. There's
Let's
no
forget
air
the exterior
condition.
part of that building. The
The
interior part
interior
of
is
that building.
worse. It's worse. Okay? Air conditioner not working. You got to open window for people to breathe. Then when you go get your passport, they have the waiting area, which is a separate little outside building where you sit and wait. I got the videos. Like it's heartbreaking to speak on it because like this is my country. This is not how it should be. But what kind of place in this world you will go to get your passport, which is your citizen's right to get a passport? It's your innate right as a citizen of that country to have a passport from that country. The only way you can get denied a passport is either you fill out the form wrong or you not follow the rules. But when you go get your passport, they allow a pastor to come into the place to preach to you and tell you, this is the man who hustle. He's a pastor. This is who hustle. He comes in and he preaches to you. And he tells you, yeah, let's stand up and pray to God so people don't deny you for your passport today. When we went to get your passport in America, did any pastor come to pray to say that pray so people can deny you for your passport? And you go, you fill out the form, you do it the correct way, you pay your fees, and you send it in.
That is simple process.
We're not. So this pastor comes and he prays. And Liberian people are so naive. This man is praying that God will bless them. People will not deny their passport today. But yet you're finished paying your $80 for your passport already. They finish processing your form, everything. Then this man goes and collect offering. He passes the offering basket around. You who's struggling because the price of rice is so high. You who's struggling because you don't have a stable paying job, but yet you have money in your pocket to give to a pastor a foreign affair because you don't want your passport to be denied. Yeah.
So, these things are so troubling, all of it is so troubling. Foreign affairs, the airport, these other departments, and all of these places, they just lack process improvement things, period.
These
Something
things
that
are just there.
after you fill out a form, they still ask you what's your name.
They still ask you what's your name. They call it vetting, like the owner of vetting. That's why today Dubai banned Liberia for getting visa to go into the country, because it's so easy to get a Liberian passport. You don't have to be a Liberian to get a Liberian passport. You know that, right? As long as you go there, you fill out the correct form, you can speak Olokwa, you get a birth certificate that says you were born in Liberia, which you can manufacture anywhere in Liberia or pay somebody to give to you in Liberia. You can get a Liberian passport. We have Nigerians and
very
Ghanaians.
disheartening. Yeah, it's
We have
sad.
Liberians and Ghanaians who got Liberia passports and they go overseas and they use our passport to commit crime. Because a Liberian passport costs $80, $80 USD in Liberia, and you get it in 24 hours. Our passport is not like in other countries where your form goes to the State Department, they investigate your background, they look at your criminal history if you have any, you have the fingerprint and everything. You know, Liberia, they fingerprint you the same day your passport is tomorrow. They don't do background check. They just do your fingerprint just to have it in the system for Interpol. So just in case you go overseas, you commit a crime, the Interpol system got your fingerprint. You know, Liberia is the only country where when you go take your passport picture, they tell you not to wear a white shirt, which is fine because it's a white background. But they got a kosu like this that everybody share. If you get white shirt on, you have to wear the kosu to take your picture. And your hair has to be, I'm like, are you serious? They got a wig cap for people who get haircut like yourself. Your hair have to be, so they make you wear a wig cap because your hair is cut.
I'm laughing.
You have to pay to use that wave cap.
I wore a long pants to go there, and they told me to go Talapa. I know, I know. It's very disturbing.
Liberia is the only country where that I've been to, because I will not speak for others, but I have traveled to from my personal experience, where if you go into a government building, you have to, even if you go in just to process paper, you have to be dressed in business casual. You have to dress like you're going to work. You can't wear short pants. You can't wear your slipper. In America, I can wear my slipper and my short pants and go into the post office and apply for my passport, take my passport picture and send it in. I can wear my short pants and go into the bank. I can wear my short pants and go into the place, my slipper, my everything. Like, it's the only place where you go into a government building, you have to dress up like you're going to work.
So let me pause you there. Okay. So as you previously mentioned, right? When you're in room, you are like a Romans. My thing with this specific thing in terms of your clothing when you go into that building, right? I don't know what it's called, but where you get your passport is to be consistent with the rule. You know what I mean?
They're not
if
consistent.
You tell Emma to wear lapa or to wear something that covers, it needs to apply to everyone, regardless of who
it does not.
That's the only issue I have with them.
The reason why it does not apply to everyone, because Liberia, like I said, is a do as you please country. And when you go to these institutions, these government offices, is who you know, or who knows you, or who you know with this, and who would take it like that.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why the person, when I went to go get my passport, I saw this one girl that I've seen on Facebook before. This girl is dressed like she's going, you know, she get her gym tight skin tight on,
leggings,
with her t-shirt, her leggings, with her t-shirt and her sneakers. But she goes into the building and comes out with no problem.
Yeah.
Because she knows people
it's who
in there.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. If these so-called rules are applicable across this person, it needs to be applied to John, to Paul,
but who will apply it, my
but who's going to be reinforcing it? Because at the end of the day,
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
no sense of accountability. So
there's none.
And so, I mean, how do we fix this issue? That's where some groups of people are saying,
how we can fix this issue is that we got to put people in positions that are fit. I don't mean this man is a Yale graduate or this man been living in Liberia, been in politics. No. But fit, I means people who have it up here, but not just up here, but have the common sense to know. The common sense is very important to know that if this applies to Emma, this applies to Kui, this applies to Watson, this applies to, it applies to everybody, and it applies to me.
And that's it.
There's no going around it, you know. But that's the problem. We give people power in Liberia. These people get the power and they forget how to do their job. They forget the reason that ministry is there for. They forget the motto or the idea or the ideology behind that ministry. You know, You cannot say this the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for
Affairs.
visas,
Mm.
and passport. This ministry means this is the ministry for your citizens that won't go outside the country. Foreign Affairs. That means passport, visa. This is the ministry for the safety. This is your State Department.
Mm-hmm.
This is Liberia version of the State Department. Okay? That is responsible for citizens outside America, outside Liberia, and inside Liberia. But yet they don't do their job.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
So
do their job.
with all these complexities, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still intend to go? Why? Let's forget. No, let's remove
No, I like the
your
question. I like the question.
foundation. Let's
I
remove
like the
your
question. Yes,
foundation, your
let's remove it.
parents. Okay.
Let's remove it. And I like the question because I answered that question this year as well in another interview. Um, I have tattoos on my body. Okay,
Lydia,
I
what's
have
you?
I have tattoos on my body, and I have this one tattoo right here on my right side. It goes from up here to down here. You know, it's the map of Liberia. You know, I
Hmm.
have it on my rib cage, and in that tattoo it says, "Home is where the heart is."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me that speaks to me of the fact, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, no matter how rich I become,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many children are born, no matter if I'm married to the most beautiful woman in the world, I will always go home
Mm-hmm.
because Liberia will always be home.
Mm-hmm.
Because tomorrow America can come to me and say, "Mama, give me back my passport." Liberia, okay, we'll send all of you back home. I will be glad to go because
Yep.
that is my home. Because I have an identity.
Yes.
Liberia gives me an identity. That's why take away the TED UFC, take away everything else that I'm involved with in Liberia. You know, the TV station here, the radio station here, the this and this here and there.
Let me
Take away
reach
all that.
now. Let me tell you
Yeah.
now. You better put your
Look,
number.
take away all that, Zawadi, take away all that. I'm still a Liberian,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because that's who I am. That's what my parents born me to be. That's what my ancestors left and fought for me to be, you know. So, with all the complexities, there's no traffic light, there's no rules for for anything, you know. You can just do as you please, as you come, as you go. White man can come and start a business before all Liberian men. Lebanese man can come and get free quarrying because he know the director of here and the director of there. You know, he can connect his land to the poor and be getting free quarrying while people are struggling, you know. But yet Liberia is still home. There will come a time and a place and a moment where maybe our people will wake up from their slumber. They'll wake up from their sleep. It might not be me. It might not be the next generation after me. It might be hundreds of years down the road before they will wake up to realize that we are destroying our own home. We're not giving ourselves a fighting chance to have a place to call home because we're not developing it the right way. And the reason why I go home is because of that. It's because at the end of the day, I can sleep in my American bed, I can go to my American job, I can spend my American USD, I can laugh with my American friends now. But when I go back home, I am at peace. I am relaxed. I can wake up in the morning and eat my kesari kore and wet my mind, do my bado water and watch my sack on TV and play on my Wi-Fi and decide if I want to do anything today. If I don't want to, I don't have to. Compared to America, where you have to wake up, you have to make sure you do this and do that and do this and do that and do this and do that, or else your bills will not get paid, or else that investment that you put your money in, it will not come out the correct way, or that person making D-way, if you're not consistently on it, it will not come out the correct way. You know, but you don't have to do that. I want to make D-way, you don't make D-way, that's my business.
Yes.
I don't care. I will get the money, I will put my coat on my head and go sell it today, that's my business. I won't be yelling in here.
To some extent, you like that level of freedom.
I like that level of freedom, but yet I hate that level of poverty. I love the freedom, but I hate the innate poverty our people have in the nature of I don't give a damn. As long as I eat rest today, I'm okay. You know, I love the freedom, you know, because that freedom just started to happen. You know, I love the freedom of going home and being relaxed. But I hate the fact that why should $1 be $153 of my country money. When though Turbo was in power, $1 was $1 Liberian dollar.
You know, the problems are complex. Liberia, you know, we are behind in production because if you look at our country's GDP, right? What are we producing? What are we manufacturing?
We
what
are
are
producing.
we doing? What are we
Liberia
producing?
Liberia is the number 2 or number 3 rubber producer in the world.
It is accounted for.
It's accounted for through Firestone, Bridgestone, and Metella. I think it's called Metella Acel or Metella something. Yeah, Acela Metella who takes our iron ore.
Yeah, I know. I went to
and you know why?
I know, but
you know why those things are not accounted for? Because the people who are in charge, our country commissioner, our maritime commissioner, our president pro tempore, our country financial advisor, all the hands are in it.
But
they are getting their cut.
That is why, regardless of if
what
they're
we
producing,
need, what we
not
need in
contributing.
Liberia, what we need in Liberia is Charles Taylor 2.0.
I beg you, man.
No, not in the fight of a warlord, but in the fight of a dictator that will say, you do this, this is what will happen to you.
Go elect Merbra then.
No, Merbra is the new minister. She's the new LEC person. And what she's doing in Liberia, I love it.
But she does this in every department. She does this everywhere she goes.
She's in charge of LEC, and what she's doing now is she's going to communities and asking people for their meter and their wire that's connected to the pool.
Because people are stealing it, and
exactly.
the people that own it don't want the money to be flat. And so they bring somebody who will reinforce.
We need a reinforcer. Because if a reinforcer tell you, say, don't do this, like in the military, when they tell me this is the rules and regulation, if you break this code or you violate this uniform code of military justice, this is what will happen to you. You will not want to do it. Because you don't want those consequences. You don't want those consequences in your life. But in Liberia, you tell Liberians, say, you do this, I will do that. They'll say, well, you don't know who my uncle is. You don't know who my this is. You don't know who my dad is. You know, that the first thing. But Mary Brown is going to communities, and if you are stealing currency, cutting your line.
It is simple as it is, but do you understand? Mary Brown has been doing this across all departments, but it comes back to the accountability. She's here, she's doing great, but you want to remove her from here because you're not even replacing her with somebody she can train.
My girl, she's here and she's doing great. Do you know why they remove her? Because if she's here and she's doing great, she imposing the regulations and she holding people accountable. Like people become uncomfortable. They don't like it because now you're spoiling the eating off. They don't like someone to hold them accountable, and that's hurting the country. Because if somebody cannot hold you accountable, how will your country progress? Common team, Liberia produces rubber, but Firestone gets most of their rubber for their car tire, the Yama they make from Liberia. But Firestone pay taxes, but yet the taxes that Firestone paying is not even equivalent to the taxes some countries they're paying in America here.
Okay, yeah.
The taxes alone that Firestone should be paying for the rubber they're taking for our country should be able to build our roads, put traffic light on our streets. My girl, I drove every time in Liberia I can drive, right? I love driving in Liberia, but at nighttime in Liberia driving is dangerous because the light pole then that's all be shining light in Liberia don't have light bulb. You will see one light pole working over here, but the next one not work until probably 7, 8, 9, 10 light pole down the street. We see another light pole working. So that distance that you have of darkness, somebody crossing the street, you can hit that person because you're not seeing your car.
And then when that happens, there's no accountability. You can just, but so it just all the problems intertwined.
So everything intertwined. So if you have someone in Liberia and you want to fix a problem, you gotta start from the bottom. We cannot start from the top.
You can't. It won't work.
You gotta give the people. Look at Ghana, who is younger than us. Sierra Leone, who is younger than us. Ivory Coast, who is younger than us. Why does Ghana have stable electricity? Nobody tend to ask that question. Ghana has stable electricity because Ghana has invested in the infrastructure, not infrastructure, infrastructure, the structure inside the country. Ghana has invested in it. Liberia has 15 counties. Ghana doesn't have 15 counties. Liberia has 15 counties, but yet everyone wants to live in Monrovia.
That's another topic, man.
Leaving 14 counties that people can live in and produce in and put value into. You know, foreign affairs is only in Monrovia, right? So if you want to get a passport and you live in the southeastern region of Liberia, like Maryland County, then Sano County, then Grand Junction County, then you have to drive all the way to Monrovia to process your passport, and then stay in Monrovia until your passport is done, so you can take it with you back to where you come from. They don't have sub offices in other counties. Or you say, okay, this is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Montserrado County. This is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Lofa County. This is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Maryland County. We don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. And it's sad because we travel to all these other countries and we see it. Liberia has an ID card. They call it National ID. They all look the same. That's easy to be criminalized. America has ID card, but every state is different, which makes it hard for someone to criminalize it because they put watermark in it, they put it in it to make it happen. But I get one ID card for everybody. You know, so I mean, if you live in Grand Junction County, you live in Nima County, Sando County, Grand Bassa County, River G, your ID card look exactly like the person who live in Monrovia. Only thing that's different than your picture. Liberia doesn't have addresses. Liberia doesn't have zip code. Think about it. The only place in Liberia that has address that I have seen is Mama Point, because that's where the diplomats from different countries live. That's where these Peace Corps people live on UN Drive, Somalia Drive there. So if you go to Mama Point, where they have the old American embassy and the new American embassy, you'll see house name with number 105 UN Drive, 105 Social Drive, because those are diplomatic homes.
But these are so. It is so achievable to have addresses on houses.
It's so achievable.
It's a Google mapping process that needs to happen.
Yes, and it has to do with zoning. You know, because certain area code based on their zoning area of either it's a residential area, you know, it's a industrial area, it's a this area or that area, you know, or because you say, okay, here's the zip code for if you live in a community that is zip code here. The other area that is zip code here is zip code. Houses in Liberia don't have numbers. What they do is they write LEC, they put your LEC meter number on your house. So that's how people know your house. Or you say this is A block, this is A block house number 1, A block house number 2.
Zawadi Lane.
No, Zawadi Lane house number 1, Zawadi Lane house number 2. It's not to say you say this is 3435 Johnson Street, house number Omatari Liberia 555994. So when you have a letter for 555994, you know it's going to Omatari, you know it's going to this house, that address already on there. You know, in Liberia, when you send packages to Liberia, the people can deliver the package to your house. You have to go on Broad Street to FedEx, show your ID card to pick up your package, or to DHL pick up your package.
It's the system
because there's no address.
Yeah. You know? It's you know, we could go on and on and on and on. And as you said, it's a house, it's not a home, and a house is home is what the heart is, and
home is what
Liberia,
the heart is, yeah.
Liberia is where many of our hearts. That's where we place it. And so I also am a big advocate of we in the diaspora, we outside of Liberia, we do have the upper hand to also make an impact from either private sector perspective, from public sector perspective. We all still can contribute, because even the Ghana we speak of all the time, their citizens are making a big impact. Those that are abroad, those are within. And so my goal here is to always encourage all of us, those who have the upper hand, to go home, evaluate in areas that they can reach. It doesn't have to be big businesses, but mentoring, tutoring, all of
Yeah,
these things
yeah.
can actually help foster the growth of our country. And I
No,
know
that's
you're
true.
very passionate about this, and again, because one, you have your military leadership experience, and you love your country so much. But again, we can talk all of these great things, but we have to also talk about the problems. And I'm so happy that you can
Yeah,
be so bold to talk about
yeah.
some of the issues that are taking place in our country. I would love to have you in my life one of these days. This is recorded, of course, because it's
Oh,
very
yes,
engaging.
yes,
Yeah, definitely would like to
yes.
have you on the live. And
Yeah, like,
thanks for coming.
yeah. You just let me know. Like I said, I've been knowing you for a while now, so I know what you're about. I know your standard. I know what you're pursuing for our fellow Liberians. And you are one of the outstanding and good ones. There are
Thank
not a
you.
lot of outstanding and good ones because apparently being an outstanding and good Liberian is a bad thing. You know, but it's individuals like yourself with your mindset, and what you like to achieve. Because at the end of the day, they I think the saying goes, if I'm saying it right, the the whole
Hmm.
is better than the sum of its parts.
Mm, mm, mm.
I mean, the
Mhm,
whole piece of
mhm,
the apple
mhm,
is enjoyable compared to just eating the stem or the parts and stuff
mm,
that make the apple.
mm,
Because if all those
mm.
parts don't come together to make the apple is not an apple, right?
Absolutely.
It's just parts
Absolutely.
of an apple. So how we in the diaspora? Me, I'm not a part of the diaspora. I don't even know who in the diaspora. We're not in the diaspora. Who they're doing diaspora this, diaspora that. But they make it hard in our own country for people outside with Liberian descendancy, with Liberian passport, to go into Liberia and do anything. Because I remember many, many years ago when Joia became president, Joia made a pledge to the diaspora that he would donate this much of a fund would be set aside for Liberians in the diaspora who wants to come and do business or start something. All you have to do is apply for this grant, apply
Mm.
for this loan, and this and that and this and that. I have not seen one of it. I have
We
not seen
move.
one
We
Liberian.
move.
I've not seen one Liberian tell me say I'm from the diaspora. I went to Liberia. I show my credentials. I have Liberian descent, my birth certificate, my passport, and I told them I would like to apply for a loan so I can start a business here. Not one. Problem number two: if you want to start a business in Liberia, you need land.
Mm,
The availability of land in Liberia is hard because everybody wants to have their business in Monrovia.
mm,
Nobody wants to go outside Monrovia because if I open a business outside Monrovia, based on the fact that we don't have good roads for transportation, who's going to want to put their life on the line to come all the way out to my business? When
mm.
even the road that leave from Liberia, that leave from Monrovia to go to Robert Feet is like a piece of shit. Excuse my French. When I say piece of shit, I thought Philadelphia had potholes, but going to Robert Feet and coming from Robert Feet, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful that I will send you my videos and my pictures.
Yeah,
It's
I will share with them.
disgraceful.
Well, don't worry.
I'm not sure if I send it to you on Instagram, send it to you on here, send it to you in iMessage or whatsoever, or
Send to me
WhatsApp or
on WhatsApp.
whatsoever. But it's very disgraceful and very distasteful, Zawadi, that the international airport is about 2 hours away.
Mm,
I was on my way. I almost didn't make it to America. I was on my way to the airport. I'm not even talking about the road, but this is the comment example I'll give you. I was on my way to the airport. Joia lives in rehab. Joia Junction is right there. We have when you enter, you see the big sign on the main community that says welcome. But nobody can go past that area, but that presidential community, Joia area. Cool, no problem. I don't care. But when traffic happens in Liberia, you will sit in your car for hours
mm,
and hours because our people see the fixing rule, but the road can move from here there. It
mm.
can move from our toes to over there because the people that are facing the road, they don't know what the hell they are doing. So I was on my way to the airport. There was traffic in rehab. Cars coming from different directions, meeting each other, causing a combustion of traffic where nobody can move. This is why I say I'm a hypocrite, but I will do it all again. So I had to take my luggage out of the car, tell the driver to turn around and go back, tell my brother to grab my luggage, get on the bike with my luggage. I had to get on another bike, and we weaved our way through the traffic, risking our lives because we have to go through cars that are like bumper to bumper. When I say bumper to bumper, my dear, I mean in mud, water. My sneakers are wearing got so dirty because the bike is going through the mud, trying to take shortcuts. They got people facing roads saying, you can't go here, you can go there. So I said, dude, we gotta go. Look at the traffic. We have to weave between cars on a bike for an hour. Me, American Soya.
Look, I'm out of trouble and I think on the channel
Lucky
today.
for all, we train on these things. But to ride a bike is nothing. To ride the back of a bike is nothing. We train on those things for our deployments we go to. It's nothing. But for a country to have a major road that's just one lane on one side, on the other side, and when there's traffic, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And these are the same roads that diplomats that will travel from different countries come on and ride to go to the hotel name. So where's the sense of national pride? That you not be ashamed to have such a road, but yet we have a very good airport in Sinko, the James Spring Pin Airport, very good airport with smooth road and everything. So I asked my brother one time, I'm like, tell me if this makes sense to you. Do you think it would be better to close down Rawafi Airport and use this airport that in Sinko here because the road to the airport is shut up for everybody that live in Monrovia and work on fixing that road to Rawafi? When you're done fixing that road to Rawafi, you reopen that road for people to use the airport. Don't you think it would be better? It would save lives. It would save time. My brother said, my man, if you bring out an idea again, you're not like the thing people will tell you. So as a president who lives in rehab, which is down past SKD complex, you're trying to tell me you are comfortable driving 2 hours from Mangibi County on a road that is terrible, but because you got police escort, everybody can move from your way. You think you will not have no sense of shame or disgrace that you are even driving on that road. But our boy don't care because the car that Joia drives, Joia got different cars that he can drive to go to work. If he go into the airport, Joia don't carry his Mercedes Benz to the airport. Joia carry a SUV because you know the road is bad. So the SUV can handle the road better than Mercedes because the SUV is higher in the air, the tire is bigger. He will not feel any bump and bruises because his car gets shot exorbitant that is very, very top of the line. You know, but for the common citizen who get his taxi and look back, you know, look back, you know, yeah, you driving look back, you know, your car can break down the road, and then when car break down the road, it's a bad thing because nasty accidents happen on that road all the time. You know, but to cut long story short, I will send you the videos. You'll see the road for yourself. You'll see the disgrace. You know, like as a Liberian, that's why sometimes when some of these other countries are cussing us on social media, telling us say we are this, we are that. Sometimes my Liberianism inside me will get upset, you know. But then sometimes I don't get upset because sometimes they are talking things that's true. You know,
And the
based on the fact
the truth hurts.
it hurts. The only thing we can do is cook good jollof, have beautiful women, know how to bluff, can speak eloquently well, can speak colloquial, we can chase degree like degree will finish from in the world. But yet our country is in a state where we don't even know if that country or that community, you know. But yeah,
Anyway, thank you
yeah.
so much. I do look forward to welcoming you back on this channel so we can have like a live show where people are involved.
Yeah,
and
you let me know the
engaged.
live show. You know your boy is an international traveler, so you let me
Okay.
know. I'll book a flight on my black card, you know, and I'll come out to Cali. I was actually thinking about coming to Cali last night, but I was too tired. But
Okay.
but yeah, we will definitely arrange. We'll talk. You know, we're always in communication. You know, you let me know. We can plan something. If I come out to Cali for a couple of days to do a live show in the studio or to do a podcast, you know, to have a really live interaction, you know, show where people can actually, you know, listen and be a part of the conversation. We can have this open platform of conversation. You know, more than open to that idea. You know, that would drag most Liberians from behind their closed doors. and probably be the start of something to bring Liberians together for the betterness of our country.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
More than ever, more Liberians are very curious now to see where this country is heading. It's very evident in the emails that I
for
received.
me, I have no issues because my plan is with what I do for a living. My plan is to go to Liberia at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay.
You know, and for me, something like that can be something where if someone is curious to know what's going on in Liberia or whatsoever, forward me your questions. Forward me what you're curious about. So on my next trip to Liberia, I can find your curiosity and I can give you the answer that you're looking for.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. So something like that is always on the table. But as Liberians, I think we need to open a forum for a really open conversation with Liberians, not just outside Liberia, but
Right.
Liberians inside Liberia who sees the struggle every day and
Right.
who are sick and tired of our country being disgraced, on the international stage. Of our
Absolutely.
president taking a whole month off to go watch World Cup. Why that whole month can be spent improving the cost of living for people in that country. Like if I was president of that country, okay, yes, I'm going to go spend 40 days, 28 days watching a World Cup. In that country, you're going to a country of Qatar. People who know Qatar was not what it looks like today back in the day. Qatar was a desert of nothing, but yet the people turned the country into one of the most beautiful places in the world to visit.
The third richest
So,
country in
so
the
why
world.
can't you go and have conversations with engineers, with architects, with the crown king of that country, or whoever the overall leader of that country? How can you put your pride aside and say, my man, sit down, let's talk one-to-one. How can you have my own swamp look better than
I beg,
swamp?
man.
Your own
Let's keep that conversation for another day.
yeah. We'll keep it for another day.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It really has been a pleasure chatting with you as always. You're so.
One day we'll tell people how to tell our dirty water to clean water and tell our people water Miami to clean water, because Miami, our own Miami, the people water too plenty. You can smell the thing when you walk in. You can say, "Who shit right here, Jenna?" But
You
the water passing by
crazy.
you.
You
The
crazy.
people
All right,
water touch your
anyway.
shoe. One thing I chunk it away.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And then viewers, stay tuned. This guy will be talking more on this channel. Stay tuned. Take care, guys.
I will be back.
Bye.